Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day guys, and welcome to episode 58 of All the Gear But No Idea with yours truly, Dizzy, and of course co-host here, Rhodey. How you going, mate?
Diz, I'm bloody good. How are you, mate?
I am absolutely fantastic, Rhodey. I'm going to be bringing the energy this episode, mate.
Yeah, good to hear, Diz. We've got a great guest.
We absolutely have Luke Chamings, Chamo's Lures. We are very excited to have a chat with him. He's got some excellent lure ranges, a whole host of different stuff he's got, and we can't wait to have a bit of a chat with the brainchild and sort of see what he's got in store.
Yeah, Diz, we certainly are. But before we get into that, let's get through our regular segment, starting with our oranges and lemons, Diz.
Yeah, well, Rhodey, I'll get cracking with a nice little orange for you with a great weekend away just recently in the Barossa for good friends of ours, Amos and Jacob's wedding. It was the weather wasn't overly kind to them, but what I can say about that is it certainly didn't dampen the spirits because boy oh boy did we send it.
Yeah, no, it was a good weekend, wasn't it?
It was nice. It was nice and close. It wasn't far. It was nice and close. So sort of easy to get to. Lots to see and do around the Barossa Valley, of course.
Certainly makes the Sunday a bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Like Friday wedding, so sort of half a day. Friday early knockoff. Get down there. Had Millie's folks down there helping look after the young lad Ned. So that was good.
Yeah, Diz, that's been good. And I'm going to move on to my orange. We've got another ripping weekend ahead of us with the long weekend, and we're heading over to Yorke Peninsula with a bit of a crew, chasing whiting, and fingers crossed, we've had some horrible weather of late, but fingers crossed the weather actually looks okay at this stage, not to jinx it.
Yeah, we're just hoping that it's sort of, you get a bit of bad weather out of the way, and then hopefully we get a bit of run of the good stuff. So, we're certainly looking forward to getting away and getting out there and getting stuck into some winter whiting, I reckon, mate.
Yeah, and you'd think the cold weather and a bit of blowy weather lately would maybe bring the winter whiting on, but we'll tell you that next episode, won't we?
Yeah, we absolutely will. Hopefully we've got a lot to talk about. Well, I'll give you my lemon, if you like, Rhodey, because my orange and lemon is sort of somewhat related, I guess, because, we've certainly tried to maintain a normal lifestyle since the young boys come into the world, but I guess I haven't really sent it as hard as I might have at the wedding over the weekend. And my goodness, hangovers they really hit different with children. Like screaming children at 3 o'clock in the morning with a sore head is far worse than times gone by.
Yeah, look, Diz, I won't argue with that one.
It was nasty, and I guess I won't get too graphic about it, but I had a chunder on Saturday morning, I'm not going to lie. And, it was not pretty. I actually felt drunk wheeling Ned in the pram down the main street. I reckon if I got pulled over by the cops, they would have had a bit to say to me.
Look, we're not starting a parenting buddy podcast with this, right? Are we, Diz?
No, we're certainly not. We're definitely not setting the best example for how to parent. But Anyway, here we are. What's your lemon, mate?
Look, the Barossa was cold. Adelaide's been cold. It's been raining. There's been no fishing because it's been blowing a dog off a chain. The weather's been horrible.
Oh, it has, hasn't it? It's been shocking.
So
I'd agree with you. That's a very worthwhile lemon, that one.
We're hoping that the still winter weather's coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely. But while you're on the subject of that lemon, it probably just leads nicely into our little update for the listeners out there with regards to the merch, doesn't it? Doesn't it, mate?
It does, Diz. We've got the beanies. They're in production.
Yeah. So they're on the what I guess it's a sewing machine that probably gets busy on making a beanie. Do you think, like a commercial sewing machine?
Yeah. Look, Diz. I don't know how they knit them. I'm not sure whether they've got a team of grandmas knitting away over in some obscure part of the world, but I don't know. But they're on the way.
Well, I guess that's the main thing. That's what we really care about, isn't it? We paid the money. They look good. They really do look good.
Yeah, so we'll have a photo for you on social media a little bit later this week, and then we're thinking they're probably about 2.5 weeks off being in our hands. So once we chuck that photo up, they're nice navy and grey, mostly, Diz.
Yep.
And we'll start taking some pre-orders then.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good shout, mate. We should definitely do that because we want to make sure that the listeners out there can get their hands on these beanies while we still are getting this horrific winter weather.
Yes, Diz. That will help plenty of people keep warm.
Absolutely. Rhodey, let's get into the news because we've got a bit to get through before we get Chamo on the show and we hear from him about all of his lures and what he's been up to. So get the listeners started out there on the news, mate.
Yeah, Diz, this is we've talked a lot about this in our sort of 2 or 3 years on the podcast. We're back onto the cuttlefish, Diz, and this is
here we go again.
Yeah,
All
this has been
news.
one of those
this
things.
Isn't all the gear but no idea cuttlefish edition?
Well, it's been one of these things that's gone back and forth for basically the whole time we've been doing this podcast. And what's happened is obviously Labor have got up in the election and a fella named Eddie Hughes has become the local minister and he's triumphantly put up on his Facebook page saying that Labor has invested in the environment and they've reinstated full cuttlefish protection in the northern Spencer Gulf.
Yeah, wow, he's proud of it, isn't he, on his page?
So what they've done is at the moment it's a temporary 12-month closure which is in place for the waters of Spencer Gulf north of the line between Arno Bay and Wallaroo. So that extends from basically now up until the 13th of May 2023 and that prohibits the targeting and take of cuttlefish in that area.
Yeah, that's pretty significant, which is, I know there'll be some people down there who rely on that cuttlefish sort of migration, tourism, obviously a heavy tourism aspect. So that's great news for the region, Rhodey.
Yeah, and that's in addition to the permanent closure on all cephalopod fishing, so squid, cuttlefish and octopus, in the False Bay Point Lowly spawning area. So there's a full ban in that sort of isolated area on all cephalopod fishing and a ban on just the taking of cuttlefish in the whole northern part of Spencer Gulf.
Yeah, impressive.
I'm interested how
that's really going to boost the stocks.
Yeah, it's interesting though how they say, you're prohibited from targeting cuttlefish, but by the looks of things, you can still target squid in that area.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
So I suppose the thing is you may catch a cuttlefish, but you have to throw it back.
Yeah. Which I suppose you don't mind.
No, I think that's
that's similar to, sure there's been plenty of snapper that have been caught as bycatch when people have been dropping for nannies or whatever. Yeah,
and I suppose that ban till sort of May 2023 gives them plenty of time to come up with a permanent plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
that's good, Rhodey. Good to see the Labor government, I suppose, they're sort of taking some action.
Yeah, good to see something changing.
That's it. Rhodey, let's get on to a bit of a rule change for those out there that are following along and have a boat and watch this sort of space pretty keenly because there's been some changes in regards to life jacket wearing for boats that are over 4.8 metres up to 12 metres in length, hasn't there?
Yeah, so there's always been sort of a set of circumstances of heightened risk, which means you must wear a life jacket on that size boat. So that's when you're operating alone, when you're out in dark, things like that.
Yeah.
And they've added an additional condition of heightened risk, and they've said that a life jacket must be worn when operating only accompanied by a child or children who is 12 years old or younger.
Yes, okay.
So they're basically saying if you're out with your 5-year-old kid, you're effectively operating the boat alone.
Yeah. So then life jacket must be worn, on you go.
Yeah, so that's probably reasonable.
Well, yeah, look, I guess, you're obviously going to be teaching your young kids from early days around boating safety and that sort of thing.
Yep.
But, I suppose if something was to happen, you'd probably be happy anyway knowing that all people on board were wearing a life jacket if the weather turns or, you run into boating strife. So, yeah, probably fair enough.
And talking about life jackets, Diz, Robsy hooked us up with a couple.
Oh, what a great gift. What a great gift that was. Well done, Robsy and Pete. That's excellent work there. Great to, some interesting features. I sort of personally wasn't sure whether my 4.5-month-old knew how to blow on a whistle to attract attention, but there is a whistle on there if you need it.
But yes, no, it's good we'll be able to take Lil and Ned out boating safely in the future.
Yeah, no, don't you just love those young life jackets with the massive ring around their head? So it just sort of bobs their head up.
Bobs up and down.
Or, whatever they're doing out on the donut or whatever it is that we might get them up to. We'll probably get them donuting from sort of 6 months of age, don't you reckon?
I think that'll be a this summer sort of job.
Very good, too good. Brody, let's get on to some seasonal closures because, of course, we're talking crays.
Yep, it all happens this time of year, Diz. So it's closed now from the 31st of May for both the northern and southern zones. So no more hunting for tractors, as we call them.
Yeah, tractor hunting's off. So there'll be some disappointed tractor fishermen out there.
So that opens again on October 1 for the southern zone and November 1 for the northern zone.
Yeah, okay.
And we've also got a closure on Goolwa Cockles now from the 1st of June to the 31st of October, so that's fully banned.
Yeah, can't say we did very well on them this season, Rody.
I'm going to really test my memory by saying we may not have actually tried this summer.
I don't know whether we got down. We normally get down there.
We
got down there, actually.
What's that?
But I think Millie and I might have done a bit of a trip down there, but we didn't have any luck.
No, you certainly didn't.
No, we did. We didn't get any.
Anyway, we've had more success in previous years, but we probably didn't put in the effort.
No, that's probably fair enough. We had conflicting interests at the time.
Yeah.
Both partners very heavily pregnant. Probably cockling isn't your sort of 7 months pregnant activity. No,
they don't really have their base of support and their balance is probably not at their best.
Yeah, and their patience for sort of stopping every 50 metres on Goolwa Beach, testing if there's little cockles is, probably not right up there on the to-do list.
So if you are going to go for little baby Gillespie number 2, could you please try and plan it around cockle season?
I will. I'll keep the 1 June to 31st October in mind. Good few news articles there, Rody, to get through.
Yeah, Diz, that's enough to keep us talking.
Absolutely, mate. And now's the time we've been all waiting for. We've been very much looking forward to having a chat with Chamo. So let's get him on the line.
Rody, very lucky to be joined now on the line with Chamo. How you going there, mate?
Oh, g'day, man. Yeah, very well, thanks. G'day to you and g'day to all the listeners out there. Hope everyone's staying warm and dry.
Oh, it's hard going this time of year, isn't it, Luke? But we're going to get straight into it. We're going to go straight into tell us about your best fish, mate.
Best fish? Well, it'd have to be one of the Murray Cod I caught with Captain Spiro. I reckon it might have been Lock 9.
Yep.
yeah, I don't know, 1250, 1270, something like that from memory.
Oof,
on one of my lures as well, which is just, makes it a double whammy. Yeah, it was just a fantastic experience. It really was. The impact of their initial strike is, if you're lucky enough to be holding the rod, is something to behold, and you can. And pretty much addicted. Well, I was addicted well before that, but this really set the nails, really set the hooks in, as they say.
Absolutely.
It was a fantastic fish. I didn't weigh it or anything, we were lucky. We had a golden run there for about 3 years. I think our first half a dozen fish, none of them were under a metre.
Wow.
We just had a real golden run, and then that black water event came through, and that sort of, that changed things a little.
Yeah, we've talked to quite a few different blokes around South Australia who make lures, and they all say that it's a different feeling catching the big fish on your own lure.
Oh, there is no comparison. You sit there and you make it and you tweak it and you fart around with it and you do this, you do that. A lot of thought goes into these lures, especially that particular model for me, the redfin. I mean, everyone does a redfin. I'm well aware of this. But, I tried to get mine to be as natural looking as I could. And I'm just through studying fish and checking out their behavioural traits, Murray Cod especially, I've sort of worked out that not much likes redfin. And they get an eyeful of them stripes. They're either going to eat it, kill it, or whatever, gill rake it or whatever, but they do not like redfin in their areas, like an inbuilt, thing that most native fish have. I don't think they like the introduced species full stop, but they especially don't like redfin. So I kept making them and swimming them and fishing them in the Murray in the bigger water. They were 7 metre divers. They were quite a large lure. They went from, I think I've done 160 mil, a 250 mil and a 300 plus mil model. And the cod just had a real frenzy for them there for a little bit, and I done really, really well on them. So, the humble redfin coloured lure, it's a winner.
Did the damage. Fantastic, mate. That's excellent. Well, let's hear from you about your favourite thing about fishing. Is it sort of getting away, getting out there in nature, or?
I would say that, which we will touch on later on, the disconnect you have.
Yeah.
The way that you can have the worry of the world on your shoulders. I won't elaborate too much because it'll sort of be a bit of a bloody wreck the last story. But, the weight of the world on your shoulders, you go out there, you have a couple of casts, and then boom, you got a fish, and all of a sudden there is nothing but you, the fish, and that moment in time, and there's not many things that can take you away from absolutely, it can be any news at all you get. And that's what I love about fishing, that complete disconnect with everything and everyone. You can go with your mates and everything, but when you hook up a fish, it's you, the fish, and just that buzz of that initial impact or the fight or whatever.
Yeah, beautiful. That's great, Chamo. Now tell us next one, what is your first fishing memory or what got you into it?
Well, I grew up in a fishing family, and we all come from Benalla, Victoria on the Broken River.
Yeah.
So many evenings in the summer was spent down there. I was swimming or fishing in the river with my grandparents, on both sides, to be honest. They both lived in the same town. And my father, he got heavily into fishing when we come over to South Australia, so we were fishing in the Coorong a bit, and St Kilda, Port Gawler, all of them areas. But my earliest memory, and I thought long and hard about this one today, was I reckon I can't remember where, but it's on the Murray, up the top end of the Murray too, in northeastern Victoria. As a kid, swimming out on the sandbars with these massive tethered cod that the blokes had caught during the day or the evening before, and they just tethered them up on big stakes on the sandbar. And just as a little kid wading out and sort of wrestling around with these 100-pound and 60-pound and all sorts of sizes there, all tethered up all day. I mean, it's abhorrent to think of now, but 40 plus years ago, that was,
that was normal.
An accepted practice by some. But I just remember as a little boy, 8 years old maybe, swimming around with these massive cod that were tethered to these posts on the sandbar in the Murray in Victoria, or maybe in New South. I can't quite remember. But that's one of the earliest memories I have. For sure.
Fantastic, Chamo. And your favourite sort of fishing, mate? What is it? Is it out there on the Murray?
I love just getting in the boat, whacking it in gear, letting it idle, and running lures out the back. The lazy form of fishing, the old trolling, but just the endless procession of things on the bank. The river's never the same 2 days in a row, just a constant. We're lucky down here with the cliffs and everything. They're always great to float around under, and I just love dragging the lures around, especially making them yourself, of course. But it's just nothing better than getting a fish on your own lure, and I just love the serenity of the river and just going steady. Like I said, just whack her into gear and off you go down the river and watching the ends of the rods pulse away. A lot of people get bored with it, but I'm the same about casting. You pull up at a tree and you cast it at 75 times for nothing and move to the next one, and that's a lot of effort. I'd rather just float up and down past it 75 times and then move on. So, each to their own. I'm not having a go at these lads.
At least you see a bit of the river that way, Chamo.
But I've got more patience, so just the trolling is the ultimate for me on a big green river, or interstate somewhere, or Lake Mawala at sunset. Is pretty friggin' amazing, to be beautiful. To be brutally honest, it's a fantastic place to be at sundown and just trolling around or having a cast or whatever. So definitely lure fishing.
Yeah. Now, Chamo, tell us, what is your funniest fishing story, or tell us about the one that got away?
Now, what rating are we? I was thinking today, and there's been heaps of humorous things that have happened, most of them to me, and there's a lot of mirth and merriment around that. I fall out my kayak reasonably often, and the boys love it. Absolutely love it. It makes the fishing page all the time, and But I don't know. I remember Grandpa. I don't know if I was there for this. I do seem to remember something about it, but once again, as a family down on the river, and Grandpa's hooked up to something, enormous, really big fish. So straight away, we're all thinking cod. Excuse me. And he gets it in, and of course, it's a carp, isn't it? And it's massive. So he's grabbed it by the tail, and he's a big, strong man, and he's just thrown it behind himself without looking. But unbeknownst to him, Grandma's standing there, and it smacked her straight in the head and pretty much knocked her out.
Oh.
So, probably wasn't overly funny at the time, but I look back on it today and thought, oh man, that would have been bloody funny, I reckon. But so Grandpa's nearly knocked Grandma's head clean off with a carp.
That would have put a quick end to the fishing trip, wouldn't it?
Well, to be honest, I think he's turned around, sort of since once you come to and sat her up and everything, and everyone's giving him a bit of a stern talking off. He was that pumped about what happened. He went and put another bait on, cast out, sat back down again. My grandpa, that would have been the case. But I got hooked in the nose with a bloody heap of worms once by my pop, who's predominantly deaf. So I was at one end of the boat with a nose full of worms and the hook right up the snout. I got a full line, and he's pulling like crazy, screaming at me, I'm snagged, can you see what I'm on and get me off? So it's not yelling, it's me. You've hooked my nose, excuse me again. And because he's deaf as a post, so he's not hearing me. I'm screaming at him, and my old man's just sitting in the middle, just pissing himself laughing. He thought it was hilarious. There's a couple of G-rated ones for you.
Excellent, mate. Well, thank you very much for answering those questions. Let's get into a few other things you've been up to, because Chamo, you were at the SA Fishing Showcase. You get yourself involved in OzFish and the like. So you're very involved in the sort of recreational scene generally, aren't you?
Yeah, I have tried to be. There's a lot of us out there having a crack, but yeah, I've been hanging around for a few years now. We're getting up towards a decade. But yeah, I was a former board member at Redfish and a stocking manager, and now I've sort of retired, or whatever you want to call it. I'm the president of the Barossa Chapter of OzFish, and we're punching well and truly above our weight for a little crew. We've done some habitat jobs now in the reservoirs, and we've put well over a tonne of rock in the Warren Reservoir and some terracotta pots, and we got nominated for an award. The other day we planted 250 odd trees down the South Power in Gawler, looking at the other end of the river as it sort of joins the North Power and turns into the Gawler River. So not only looking at the reservoirs, we're sort of looking at the creeks and tributaries and whatnot as well. We had a bit of a play around in Victoria Creek not so long ago, just to have a look at how we could address sort of some carp removal down there. Pesticide detective work. Yeah, we've had a crack for a little mob, and I don't mind saying that. It's not all been under my tenure, but we've had young Alex, he was pres for a while, and the lovely Tegan Lorensky, she done it for a while. She was brilliant. I think Danny Simpson done it for a little bit as well. We worked pretty closely with Dr. Michael Serp, so the seagrass fame. Seeds for snapper fame. So, look, it's been a fantastic gig, to be honest, and we've got some more stuff coming up. We recently won a fairly decent grant through SA Water to do some more habitat in the Warren. Yep. I think it was in excess of $9,000, I think. It's somewhere up around 9,700, something like that. Beautiful. And, so we're very excited and thankful for them for that. And, so we look forward to doing that job soon. It's a much bigger job, but we'll get our heads around it. Yeah,
well, that'll keep you busy, Chamo, I'm sure.
Sorry?
That'll keep you busy, $9,500 worth of habitat.
Oh, bloody oath it will. Like, I mean, a fair bit of it gets used up in the logistics of it. That's, if we can get some volunteers to help out boat-wise, et cetera, that helps. And, to be honest, that's probably the main cost in the whole thing, is getting a boat in survey and a crane and this and that and the other, and just the logistics of it. But there's nothing cheap nowadays, boys. I mean, the whole COVID thing has certainly seen to that, and then fuel's through the roof and blah, blah, blah. But that's another topic for another day. But, it is, it's expensive to do anything on the water. It's just the way it is, I'm afraid.
All right, and Chamo, let's keep moving. That's great, the work you're doing with OzFish, but we want to move on to your personal interest in making lures, the Chamo's lures. Can you tell us about that?
Well, about, I don't know, it'd be 15 plus years ago, we moved up to Williamstown, and I started fishing in the reservoirs, and I was losing a lot of lures. They were cheap stuff from Big W and whatnot, but regardless, they worked well, but I was losing them all the time. And then it was, I'd fall in love with a certain model, and then they wouldn't have them anymore, and that started to stress me out. And so my wife said to me, why don't you make some?
Yep.
And I thought, no, what? She's probably bloody onto something here. So I had a joiner shop at the time. I'm a carpenter and joiner by trade, so I started to look around on the floor and all these little odds and sods, bits of wood and cedars and this, that, the other. So anyway, I started mucking around, and sooner or later I got one to swim, and then I bought a book on how to do it. Well, that was the end, and then I caught one. And then the whole world changed.
And you're making lots of different lures now, Chamo?
Oh, mate, we make everything from the smallest hand-tied flies up to 350 mil, cod lures and stuff for the ocean. We sort of got a little niche market, to be honest. We get a lot of people, we get a lot of collectors,
Yep.
which is a double-edged blade because, it's great. You get good money for your lure, but they don't necessarily use it. So once it's sold, that's sort of the end of that lure's career, if you know what I mean. Sits up on a wall and whatever. I much prefer to sell them and see them getting used and catching a fish. But it's a fantastic hobby / industry to be involved in. We make a little bit of money out of it, not a great deal. That's purely because I stick to this little niche market thing, and sort of people that don't really want this lure, don't want that lure, they sort of want a mixture between the two or something a little unique, different, and but we get a lot of interest for custom built stuff. But no, they're a great hobby to get into. They really are.
Yeah, absolutely, and I bet
there is nothing better than catching a fish on your own lure.
Yeah, absolutely, and people would just be absolutely chuffed to be able to support a local sort of business like that, and then be able to get something that they've been maybe thinking about or dreaming of for a while, and then they go out there and see it come to life. It'd be bloody awesome.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, you get a buzz out of getting a fish, but getting it on something you created the night before is pretty good.
And tell us, Chamo, what's the number one lure if we want to go out and catch a cod? What would you recommend? Would it be that redfin you talked about?
I reckon the number one lure, man, would be the redfin.
Yep.
For an all, because you can go down to about, I think I'd make one that's about 80 to 90 mil long, up to 300 mil in that colour.
Yep.
Them little ones are pretty good too, little battlers I call them. Yep. They're great for the reservoirs. They've proven themselves to be fantastic. But we haven't touched on the humble spinner.
Yes, tell us about that.
I'll tell you now, not many fish knock back a spinner.
Yeah.
You just got to get the size right for the size of fish you're fishing for. But I've left a spinner on my rod for something 2 or 3 months at a time and refused to take it off no matter where we're fishing or what we're fishing for.
Yep.
And more often than not have managed to catch the target species or at least something.
Yep.
They're great in the ocean for salmon and salmon trout. Snook, absolutely love them. I make a range from, tiny little sort of 5 to 7 grams up to a full ounce and a half jobby ones that are real big bodied and twin bladed, and they're great fun to use as well. And to be honest, there's not much knocks back agitation in the water.
Yeah.
That bubble stream is the undoing of many a predatory fish.
They just love it, don't they?
They do. Like, I cannot reiterate how much the bigger spinners with not quite the bigger blades, so something a little more streamlined, like a willow leaf or something like that, in the ocean, after your pelagics, they work a treat.
Yeah, and there's one other lure. You obviously make a few if you've got the wooden ones, the spinners, but the one I wanted to ask you about, Chamo, is the big grub-looking one.
Oh, the Barty grub.
The Barty grub.
Yeah.
Tell us about that one. You've had much success on the big cod using that?
Being a country boy, over in Victoria, Barty grubbing's a big thing. It's quite a little industry, actually.
Yeah.
They're expensive little suckers.
They sure are, aren't they? They're bloody rip-off.
Yeah. I mean, I seen them in Bendigo once for $5 a grub. It was in the drought time, but so yeah, they're an expensive item, and it just got me thinking. Well, why not make a few Barty grubs? So I started making the Barty grubs, and then I thought, boring. Let's find some other coloured. So we do the Wanderer.
Yeah.
I think we do like a cabbage moth one.
Yeah.
I just got a native Australian butterfly book out, and then just found a heap of caterpillars in it that looked pretty cool and were reasonably common to the area, and painted them up accordingly.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, they look like you'd have lots of fun using them.
Come up all right. I used to have a bit of a thing, if the birds look at it, you're somewhere near right, you know what I mean, if you're trying to do the natural type of lures. So I popped a grub out on the grass at Williamstown one day, and it was actually a cicada moth type of wood burnt lure. And I popped it out on the grass, and I was just thinking to myself, imagine if a bird come down and picked it up. And blow me down, about 5 minutes later, this blackbird flew down and had a few pecks at it, sort of a bit of a scratch and spar with it, and flew off. And I thought, I must be getting it somewhere near right. So
You've nailed it.
But, you can do your native, natural type of lures and just try and hoodwink the fish completely into thinking that is an actual barley grub in the water. Or you can try to trigger their instinctive strikes like spinner baits and stuff like that too. They don't really look like anything in the water, but there's something about them that triggers a strike. And there's two ways to go about lure making.
Yeah, fantastic, mate. And thank you very much for the insight into the lures there. And no doubt our listeners, if they're interested and do that sort of fishing, they'll be able to hit you up. And one thing we did want to talk about, Chamo, was, and something we touched on earlier in the 5 questions, was just about that disconnect and the sort of the healing aspects, I suppose, of getting out there and doing a bit of fishing. Something you've experienced yourself, is that right?
Very recently, I received a reasonably distressing phone call. I won't go into details, but it was pretty sort of life-altering phone call from a medical practitioner.
Yep.
Anyway, as you do, I thought, blow this. I don't want to hear it anymore. Got in the car, grabbed a rod, and toddled off down to this little cod hole on a private land. Anyway, I sat my ass down there and started having a bit of a cast. And my wife recently bought me these really, really cool polarised glasses. Big deal, everyone's got polarised glasses, but they've got an anti-glare factor in them. They've gone from the Cancer Council. Anyway, I've looked into the water and I thought, wow, how good are these glasses? I could see a metre plus. Anyway, I looked a little deeper as my lure's swimming along. I thought, what's that behind it? And I look and blow me down. Here's a, half a metre, 600 mil. I'm pretty sure it was quite a bit bigger than that, but we'll go 600. Cod.
Yep.
He's swimming along behind it. So I thought, and cast out again. He done it again. Then on the third time, he give it a bit of a nip on the arse. He hooked up, but he got off. And anyway, end of story, he got away. No big deal. I've caught enough fish in my time. Walked back to the car and drove back home. And then I thought, oh, that's right. I got that phone call. Anyway, and then I thought later on this week when I was thinking of stuff to talk to you about, I thought, well, how powerful is fishing and with mental health or, just to clear your mind and just to... I did not think of anything but this cod, my lure, my casting. Was I deep enough? Why wasn't he grabbing it when he was swimming? I was that involved in this cod and my lure that I just sort of started thinking to myself, that's a pretty powerful bloody tool, because what I got told was, bloody devastating to hear. Yet for that 20 minutes or so I was engaged with this cod, I thought of nothing but this cod and the elation of hooking him up and getting a photo and all the rest of it, and on one of my lures naturally. And it just got me thinking of what a powerful tool fishing is for just taking you away from your everyday life, and whether it be good, bad or indifferent. But yeah, what is it? That primal feeling of being connected to something in the wild by a little piece of, little tiny piece of cotton on your fishing rod sort of thing, fishing line.
Yeah.
And you're hooked up to this big natural animal and it's charging around for its life and you're fighting it, and that whole... I was just amazed at how quickly I forgot everything I'd been told not less than 5 minutes ago, and did not give it another thought until I got back home that night and sort of got over the buzz of the cod and then sat back down and sort of started to dwell on it a bit. But I said, don't underestimate the healing powers of fishing. I think the governments could do to, especially our bloody government, either or, they could do to look at fishing a lot, with a lot broader scope. Give it a lot more money, and because the healing powers and the feel-good side of it cannot be overstated, and that's just from a personal experience, and that was only 2 weeks ago when I first started talking to you, just, trying to get on and arrange your times and everything.
Yeah.
In this crazy world we live in. But, the healing powers of fishing are nothing to be sneezed at. It is an absolute amazing thing that we do and we're lucky enough to be part of. the fact that we get to do it for free in South Australia is should be a lot more appreciated than it is. I personally think a licence wouldn't go astray, but it's again another topic for another day. But I really think fishing is has a hell of a lot more impact on community happiness and stuff like that than powers to be give it credit for.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you anymore. And it's funny because our 5 questions that we ask every guest, there's often people who, we don't sort of talk specifically about this, but the fact that they can sort of detach from their everyday life and just enjoy some time outdoors or with mates or whatever it is. Yeah. You're absolutely right, mate. It's very good.
So you go with your mates and you're all lined up on the bank and you sucked in, you got snagged and can't you cast or, piss off over there, that's my spot. And you're having a bit of a laugh and teasing each other but then when you hook a fish, they disappear too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's such a powerful magnetic force. It's almost a primal thing, hunter, catcher, I don't know, but I was astounded because, like I said, the news wasn't flash. And I couldn't give a fanny's apple about it while I was there. I was that keen on this cod and, a little miffed that he got off. But then, once again, it's my lure and my lure tricked him enough that he had a go at it. So, to me, I still get something out of that.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely, mate. No, it's been absolutely fantastic. And thank you for being willing to share that and tell us a bit about your journey, the lure making and everything that's going on in the rec scene. It's been really great to have a chat with you, Chamo.
Oh, look, I just want to thank you boys for having me on. It's a bit of an honour, to be honest. I like what you do and you're kicking a few goals and, keep up the great work. And like I said, really, really appreciate the opportunity of coming on and having a yak about myself.
No, Chamo, thanks for coming on, mate. It's been great to chat with you. Before we leave you, can you tell us where we can get our hands on your lures?
At the moment, the shops are a little dry, and I've been out of action for a couple of weeks, but Goolwa Outdoor and Fishing, they will be stocked up soon. I've started that order. Cockatoo Valley General Store, Cadell General Store. Down at Christie's Beach there, Let's Go Fishing.
Yep,
got that bit right. They're in all of them shops. But, if you don't want to go to a shop, you can always just private message me and say that one on, here, copy the picture, show me it. I'll just make you one there and then pretty much and send it out to you. Yeah,
beautiful, Chamo. You've got a great range of gear on your social media and we'll be sure to share that so all the listeners can get some of your gear, mate.
No, well, thank you very much. I'll be getting back into it, as my catchphrase is, in the next week or so. All I've got to do is get through this bloody COVID.
All right, mate. Well, rest up, and thanks again for coming on.
No, brilliant work, boys. You take it easy, all right?
Thanks, mate. See ya.
See ya.
Good to chat with Chamo there, Rhodey.
Yes, he's very informative and a good man.
Yeah, no, really good. It's excellent to chat with him, and goodness me, he's got a good range of lures. We certainly look forward to having a chat about some of his more specific lures a bit later. But first, Rhodey, let's get stuck into the report because, of course, there's been a few fish being caught around the place.
It hasn't been great weather for fishing, Diz, so we're not going to say there's been heaps of fish caught.
No, that's right. I mean, we're certainly not going to sit here and talk about the report for the next 20 minutes because I just don't see us having the content for that.
I don't think enough people have been out. But Diz, when they have got out, what have they been getting into?
Well, of course, it is that time of year where the winter whitings start to fire, both locally and through the regions. So you immediately sort of think of your kind of Yorke Peninsula, then of course Metro, maybe down to Warina or off Brighton. That type of thing, and certainly the reports have been pretty strong. Yeah,
I've never claimed to be a great metropolitan whiting fisher, but I have heard St Kilda's been getting a few.
Yes, no, I'd certainly agree with that. We do occasionally get some people come into the pharmacy who fish the sort of Normanville areas. I'm certainly not going to sit here and say that I've heard any good reports, but They do normally get them down there,
Yep.
especially this time of year. But we're going to try our hat at the Yorke Peninsula winter whiting next weekend, Rody. So I dare say we'll have a bit more to talk about after that.
Let's bloody hope so, Diz. What about the barrels? They still getting any?
Yeah, I've seen some barrels. They've still been coming through. Like, I think if you follow the charter pages, they're still coming in.
I know Extreme Marine's been doing well.
Yeah, they have been. They've been getting on them, that's for sure. I think it's just one of those things. They tend to fire, but maybe that's kind of at the start of the season when people are just really excited about getting one, and then one brings two, and all of a sudden it's all over social media, and they think they're going wild.
Yeah, and
still obviously a type of fishing that you're gonna have trips where you catch donuts, ain't you?
You are, and you've got to find the weather.
Absolutely.
And Diz, this time of year, the salmon fishing fires up?
Certainly does, Roddy. Port Noarlunga Jetty is notorious for good salmon fishing, but also there's obvious places down on the peninsula. Browns Beach is notorious for good salmon. Butler's Beach, also another one down there, Roddy. Yeah,
and the salmon comp, I think, has started. We talked about that last episode, the Australian salmon comp.
It does, absolutely. Sharinga is a name that immediately comes to mind when you're talking salmon fishing. So
that started up the 1st of June.
Yeah, so I think it was the Sharinga Roadhouse is a sort of drop-off point, like a measuring, entry into the comp. So if you're heading over there, then get stuck into it.
And I think the Elliston Caravan Park's probably the main one, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that might even be where they have like a ceremony of sorts where they announce it. So very good. And I've been hearing a few reports just because of the locality of the pharmacies to the Port Noarlunga Jetty. A couple of big catches of gar caught.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so of course, if you need bait, you'd be mad not to swing down and see the boys at How's Your Tackle. Catch up with Dan, Boyd, shoot the breeze. They'll be able to tell you where the fish are biting.
Yep, get your gents for your garfish. And I did see they're now selling small pilchards, just perfect for your salmon fishing off the jetty.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're always doing something innovative, those boys.
They are, Diz. All right, that's all we've got for the fishing report tonight.
Yes, Roddy, let's move into a very fitting tackle item.
Yes, Diz.
Because, of course, we're going to have a chat about Chamo's lures.
Yeah, we've had him on. He's a great man. And we're going to move on to something a bit specific out of his range, Diz. When we knew we were getting Chamo on, I spent a bit of time really searching hard through his social media, seeing what lures I liked, and I found one that is a winner.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about it, mate.
And that's the duck lure.
In his range?
The duck lure.
Oh, gosh. How good.
He's got a few of them, but they're bloody realistic, these duck lures.
Well, so carpenter and joiner by trade.
Yeah, he talked about...
Obviously very handy.
He talked about the grub lure, and this is another one of his sort of bigger range of lures. And it comes in sort of your traditional, I think you'd call that I think they're called wood ducks.
Yeah, that's a wood duck.
I think there's a wood duck colour, and also if you scroll further down the page, there are a couple of other sort of duck or bird varieties that he makes, but they look bloody good.
Yeah, of course they do. They're he's very handy. I mean, it doesn't take much to have a look through his social media pages to realise that he's obviously very crafty, isn't he?
He is, and he's got some sort of yellow bird, and he's also got what looks to me to be a galah.
Oh, a galah? I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, no, there's a pink-looking galah thing. So I'm going to call today's tackle item. I know Chamo talked up the redfin type lure and the spinner baits, but for creativity and ingenuity and all that, I'm going to call the duck or bird varieties of lures our tackle item of the week.
Beautiful. No, I'm happy with that. I'd agree.
And Diz, that just about brings us to the end of today's episode.
Yes, it does, Rhodey. It's been a good episode. It was excellent to catch up with Chamo and have a yarn. And certainly if you're into the lure fishing or you like chasing a Murray Cod, then hit him up because he's done well. He's done well on the fish. He posts a few, does well in the reservoirs, that's for sure. He's got something for everyone. You heard him talk earlier today about spinnerbaits and the like. So, it was good to catch up with him.
Yeah, and Diz, long weekend coming up. We're going fishing. If you are too, make sure you tag us in Facebook, Instagram, and keep us involved.
Of course, and I would very strongly suggest that all you listeners out there would follow us intently on the socials because there's going to be an extremely stylish piece of apparel in the form of a beanie being posted over the next, what are we going to say, Reddy, week or so?
Yeah, I think we'll put it out at the end of the week.
And you want to get your pre-orders in fast because these things are going to fly off the shelves.
Yeah, Diz, if all goes to plan, we might have a second order 3 before long, the way the talk's been.
Good shout. Good stuff, Reddy. Well, good to catch up with you, mate, as always.
All right, guys, good luck fishing.
All right, we'll speak to you soon, guys.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.